Hi everyone, welcome back. In this video tutorial we are going to discuss Lambda expressions in Java. We will learn Lambda expressions with lots of examples in this video tutorial. So Lambda expression is one of the important features introduced in Java 8. Lambda expression facilitates functional programming and simplifies development a lot. So in example section we'll see how we can use a Lambda expression to simplify the development. Alright. So we'll learn a lot about Lambda expressions in this video tutorial. Alright, and we use Lambda expression to provide implementation for functional interfaces. So functional interfaces are the interface which has only one abstract method. Alright, so just remember, functional interface is an interface which has only one abstract method. And in upcoming video tutorials I will be covering a lot about functional interfaces in detail. Okay. So let's go ahead and let's see how we can use a Lambda expression and how to write Lambda expressions with lots of examples. Let's create a project in Eclipse ID. Go to the file, new, and choose Java project, and let's give name as Java tutorials. And right click on src folder, new, and create a package, and let's name it as com.java.tutorials. And let's create a class. Right click, new, and choose class, and let's name it as Lambda Example 1. So first we will see example without using Lambda expression, how our code looks like. Okay, for that let's create an interface, and I'm going to give a name as drawable. Alright, so this is the naming convention we basically give for the interface. And let's create a method and name it as draw. Okay, and this is the interface. It has only one method, and by default in the interface the method is public and abstract. Okay, and let's create a class which implements this interface. Class, I am going to give name as drawable impl, and this implements drawable interface. And let's implement a draw method here. Alright, let's provide a sysout, and here I am going to just print a message. Drawing. Okay, a simple statement here. And in a main class we create a main method, and here we basically instantiate an object of drawable impl class, and next we call drawable.draw method. Okay, so usually we do like this, right? So first we create an interface, and next we create a class to implement this interface, and next we create an object of the class, and we call the respective method. Okay, this is how typically we do. So if you look at closely to this class here, so it is usually only one. Okay, and it implements only single method. So usually what we can do is we can replace implementation for this interface with anonymous implementation. Okay, so what we can do is we can replace this implementation with the anonymous implementation. So how to do that? So let me comment out this. So in order to create an anonymous implementation we use anonymous class. So anonymous class is the class which doesn't have any name, and the declaration and instantiation happens at the same time. So for example, let's create a drawable interface with an anonymous implementation. Okay, so this is the anonymous implementation of drawable interface using anonymous class. So as I said, anonymous class is the class which doesn't have any name, and the declaration and instantiation happens at the same time here. Okay, Now here what we can do is we can just provide a sys out here, and I say driving. Okay, so this is the implementation of anonymous class. Now as I mentioned earlier, we can use a Lambda expression to provide implementation for functional interfaces. So if you look at the interface here, drawable interface, it has only one abstract method. Alright, so we can use a Lambda expression to provide implementation for this interface. And here we have used anonymous class to implement drawable interface, and we can use a Lambda expression to replace the anonymous implementation of this interface. So let's see how to do that. Let me here one more statement we are missing. Let's call the draw method here, and let's run the code here. So it is calling drawing. It just printed a statement to the console like this. Now let's go ahead and let's see how to use a Lambda expression. Drawable and just provide a sys out here like this, and after that drawable dot call draw method. So this is how we use Lambda expression to implement a functional interface or interface which has only one abstract method. It's pretty simple, right? So if you look at here, the number of lines of code here. So if you don't use Lambda expression, then look at here, probably you need to write too many extra lines. But in case of Lambda expressions, in a single line we can able to implement this interface. Alright, so this is how the difference. And let's go ahead and let's run this program. Yeah, here we go, drawing and drawing. So this is how we use a Lambda expression to implement a functional interface. A Lambda expression can have 0 or any number of arguments. Let us discuss different ways we can write Lambda expressions. So in this example, look at here, we are not using any arguments. Okay, and this is the example for Lambda expression with no arguments or no parameters. Alright, so let's go ahead and let's create an example which shows a Lambda expression with single as well as multiple parameters. For that I will create a new class here, and let me name it as Lambda Example 2, and let me create an interface, and I'm going to give a name as Printable, and let's create a method. And just give a single parameter string message, and let's go ahead and let's first see without using Lambda expression how our code looks like. Printable equal to new. Let's provide an anonymous implementation, and here provide a sys out and just print a message. Okay, and here use printable object dot print method, and just pass some message like Lambda example with single parameter. Okay, and let's run this program. Yeah, here we go. So look at the output here. So this is the implementation of printable interface, and this is the anonymous class implementation. Alright, so as I mentioned earlier, we can use a Lambda expression to provide implementation for functional interface or interface which has only one method, and here we are using anonymous implementation for printable interface. So let's go ahead and let's replace this anonymous implementation with Lambda expression. So let me comment out this, and let's use a Lambda expression printable equal to, this is the syntax for Lambda expression, and here basically we are passing a single parameter. So let's give us message as a parameter here, sysout, and provide a message. That's it. And printable, call print method, and here I'm going to give a same message like Lambda example with parameter. Let's go ahead and let's run this program. So here is the output. So look at here the number of lines that we have used using Lambda expression and using anonymous implementation. So if we use anonymous implementation, then we need to write this much of code, and if you use Lambda expression, then we need to write this much of code. Okay, so this is the example of using Lambda expression with a single parameter. So let me show you how to use a multiple parameters with Lambda expression. So here we can pass a multiple parameters. For that I'm going to create one more class, and here I'm going to give a name as Lambda example 3. Alright, and let's create an interface. I will give a name as addable. So this provides a method, that is add method, and here I pass int a, int b as parameters. Alright, and let's go ahead and let's create a method, create a object of addable. So let's use anonymous again. So without Lambda expression, how our code looks like, and here I am going to return a plus b. Alright, and what I will do here, I will provide a sysout and addable dot add, and I'm passing just 10.20, and I'm printing the addition of these two numbers. So let's run this. So look at here, the addition of 10 plus 20 is 30, and this is how we provide implementation for addable interface using anonymous class. So let's go ahead and let's use a Lambda expression. Let me comment out this, and here I'm going to use a Lambda expressions now, and this is the example to showcase multiple parameters we can pass to the Lambda expression. And here I am just passing a comma b. Okay, so and here I will call the add method here, and I'm going to pass 10, 20, and here I will provide a sysout to simply print the addition of these two numbers. Great, now run this program. Look at here, the output is 30. So look at here, we can pass multiple parameters to the Lambda expressions like this. Okay, so this is how the Lambda expression with multiple parameters. So compiler will understand if there is a single statement, then we no need to provide a return statement. Okay, so look at here, we are not providing any return statement, although you can provide a return statement like this. Okay, alright, so remember in Java Lambda expression, if there is only one statement, you may or may not use a return keyword, but you must use return keyword when Lambda expression contains multiple statements. For example, in our example we have only one single statement, either you can use a return or may not use it. Okay, and for this we need to, so this is the example without return statement, because it has only one statement. Okay, so this is how we can write a lambda expression with the multiple parameters. And if there is a single statement in a lambda expression, you may or may not use a return statement. But if there are multiple statements in a lambda expression, you should use a return keyword. For example, here I will just provide a curly braces, return. Okay, and I will provide sys out here. I will print A and I will print B. Okay, so if there are multiple statements in a lambda expression, then you should have to provide a return keyword like this. Alright, now what we will do, we'll see how to use a lambda expression with real-time projects. So probably if you are using runnable, callable or comparator interface in your project, then you are free to use a lambda expression without anonymous implementation or without implementation for these interfaces. For example, runnable interface is a function interface. It has only one abstract method, that is a run method, right? So we can use a lambda expression to implement this method, this interface. So let me show you how to do that. So for that, let me create a class and I will name it as Lambda Example 4. And as we know that runnable interface is a function interface, so let's use anonymous implementation for this. So I will just give here execute a run method. Okay, and here I will create a thread, and usually we create a thread and we pass a runnable instance to the thread constructor like this, and we start the thread. Okay, and let's run this and let's see, here is the output. Okay, so usually we create a thread like this. And if you see the internal implementation of runnable interface, is a function interface. So look at here. Okay, and it has a single run abstract method. So remember, if you are using runnable interface in your project, you can replace runnable. You can use a lambda expression to provide implementation for runnable interface. So let me show you how to do that. Now let me comment out this code. So let's create a runnable instance using lambda expression. Here I will just print same message like execute run method, and I'm going to create a thread. Okay, and I will pass a runnable object to the thread constructor here, and I'm going to call start method. And let's run this program. Yeah, here we go. So in this way you can use a lambda expression to implement runnable interface. Alright, it's pretty simple, right? So Java 8 introduced a new method, that is forEach method, to iterate over elements. So let us see how to use forEach method with lambda expression. So for that, let me create again a class to demonstrate the usage of forEach method with lambda expression. So I am going to call this class as example 5, and here I am going to create a main method. Inside that, let's create a list of list of programming languages. And we are going to iterate over this list using forEach loop. Okay, and let me add few of the programming languages: C, C++, Java. Alright, so this is a simple list with a few programming languages. Now let's go ahead and let's use a forEach method with a Lambda expression to iterate over this list. So I am going to use a forEach method here now. So look at here the forEach method, and forEach method takes an argument of consumer function interface. So look at here, consumer function interface, and we can use a Lambda expression to implement this function interface. Alright, so let's go ahead and let's use a Lambda expression here. I'm going to use element, and let's give a syntax for Lambda expression, and here is the sysout, and I am going to just print this element here. That's it. Alright, so look at here, it's pretty simple using Lambda expression how we can print, or how we can iterate over a list, and we can use a forEach method to iterate over a loop, and we can use a Lambda expression to print its content. So prior to Java 8 or prior to Lambda expression, how we print, basically we use forEach loop like this: string str, and inside that we use sysout, and then we print like this. Okay, so before Java 8 we use forEach method to iterate over a list like this, and with the help of Java 8 features like Lambda expression and forEach method, we can iterate over a list, and we can use a Lambda expression to implement a consumer interface. Pretty simple, right? So let's go ahead and let's run this program. Yeah, here is the output. So subscribe to my channel so that whenever I will publish a new videos on my YouTube channel, you will get notified. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.